When I was 14 years old, nothing special stood out about me. I was just average 14-year-old getting ready to graduate from junior high, very excited. I remember going to bed one night in a room that I shared with my sister, in a bed that I shared with my sister. I remember waking up to the voice, a strange voice, saying, "I have a knife at your neck. Don't make a sound. Get up and come with me." That started a 9-month-long nightmare. I remember this strange man taking me way up into the mountains behind my home, all the while at knife point. I remember being brought so far up into the mountains. We crossed right over the top of the mountain and started down the other side. We were about a quarter of the way down the other side when we came to a grove of trees, and nothing stood out about it, nothing seemed special about it. But he directed me inside this grove of trees, and I remember walking in, and I saw that part of the mountain had been leveled out. There was a tent set up. There were tarps lying on the ground, hanging up in the trees. I remember seeing a huge hole in the ground behind the tent where they had laid logs across the top and then thrown dirt up on top of it. But the most scary part of this whole scene was the woman that emerged from the tent. She brought me in and she sat me down on a bucket where she tried to sponge bathe me and change me out of my pajamas into strange robes. I grew up being very, very shy and very, very self-conscious, and that was just about the most traumatic thing I had ever had happen to me. I remember begging and pleading with her just to let me do it myself, that I wasn't dirty, that I had just showered the night before, and that I could change myself. I didn't need her help. Finally, after, 15 minutes probably of begging and crying, she finally just passed me the robes. I wiggled them on, she scooped up my pajamas, and she left me alone in the tent, sitting on an upturned bucket. I remember sitting there and crying and thinking of what had happened to me. How had just yesterday I had been at school with my friends? How had just yesterday I had been at home, looking forward to graduating, ready to go to high school? How had this happened? How had my world turned from day to night? And what had happened to my family? Had this man gone through my house already and murdered my family? What was going to happen to me? Very early on, I made the decision that I wasn't going to let these two captors win. I wasn't going to let them take my life from me. I would do everything I possibly could to survive, even if that meant outliving them, even if that meant surviving for another 30 years, going through this kind of abuse every day. Thank heavens, it wasn't 30 years. It was only 9 months later. I will never forget the first time I saw my dad after the police had stopped and picked me up. I will never forget feeling that no matter what lay in front of me, it was going to be okay, and that nobody ever again would be able to make me hurt the way that these two people had made me hurt the last 9 months. Best feeling in the world, knowing that someone loves you. The following day, my mother gave me a piece of advice, and I'd like to share it with you because, as I said, we all have trials in life. We all have those times when we don't want to get out of bed. My mom said to me, "Elizabeth, what this man has done to you is terrible, and there are not words strong enough to describe how wicked and evil he is. He has stolen 9 months of your life that you will never get back. The best punishment you could ever give him is to be happy, is to move forward with your life, because by feeling sorry for yourself and holding on to the past and dwelling on what's happened to you, that's only allowing them more control, more power, steal more of your life away from you. So don't let that happen. Justice may or may not be served. Restitution may or may not be made, but don't you dare give them another second of your life." I have to encourage every single one of you, when you are faced with a trial, don't give up, don't surrender. Move forward, because you never know what you'll be able to do with it. You'll never know the lives you'll be able to touch. I am so grateful to be here with you all today. Thank you so much. Thank you.